I never saw it coming. How something so warm, so full of promises, could turn cold and distant without me noticing until it was too late. "Did you hear what I said?" Matt asked, his eyes flicking up from his phone. I blinked, caught off guard. "Sorry, what?" He sighed and put the phone down. "I asked if you wanted to grab dinner tonight." I forced a smile. "Oh yeah, sure. Sounds good." But his smile was weak, the warmth in his voice gone. That was how it started. Little moments that slipped through my fingers, like water. I remember one evening sitting on the couch, waiting for him to look at me, but he just stared at the TV screen, barely acknowledging my presence. "Matt?" I tried softly. He grunted, eyes not leaving the screen. I swallowed the lump in my throat and looked away. I told myself it was stress from work. He's tired, I thought. Tomorrow will be better. But tomorrow never was. At breakfast one morning, I reached for the coffee pot, but he beat me to it, not looking up. "You okay?" I asked, trying to sound casual. "Fine," he said curtly. That fine wasn't fine at all. Days passed, and our conversations shrank to the bare minimum. Bills, chores, what time he'd be home. I craved the days when he'd surprise me with little notes or bring me flowers for no reason. "You used to call me beautiful every morning," I said one night, trying to break the silence. Matt looked at me, surprised. "Did I?" I nodded, feeling a sting of loneliness. "Guess I forgot," he muttered, and went back to his book. I should have said something then, asked what was wrong, but I just sat there, feeling more invisible than ever. My friends noticed. Kelsey gave me that knowing look during our coffee date. "You're settling, Adrian," she said bluntly. "You're so young. You deserve more than stale nights and empty conversations." I laughed nervously. "It's not that simple." "Isn't it?" she challenged. "You're bored and he's checked out. If you don't want to be alone, don't settle for this." Vanessa nodded, adding, "Trust me, I've been there. Sometimes you need to shake things up." I didn't want to admit I felt trapped. I loved Matt, or at least I thought I did. But, somewhere along the way, the man I married disappeared into routines and silence. One night, after a long day, I caught Matt scrolling through his phone, eyes glazed. "Who is she?" I blurted out before I could stop myself. He blinked, confused. "What?" "Your phone. Who are you texting?" He looked away. "Just work stuff." I wanted to believe him, but doubt crept in like a shadow. Later, I found myself staring at my reflection, wondering when I stopped being enough. The spark was gone, replaced by a dull ache I couldn't shake. That's when Jake came into the picture. "Hey, Adrian," he said one morning at the office, flashing a smile that made my heart skip. "Hey," I replied, trying not to sound too eager. He laughed at my jokes, asked about my weekend plans, and listened when I spoke. "You seem different," Kelsey said when I mentioned him. "Is he new?" "Just a co-worker," I shrugged. But it wasn't just that. With Jake, I felt alive again, like I mattered. One day, after a stressful meeting, he said, "You deserve to be happy, you know." His words echoed in my head long after. "Maybe I've been fooling myself," I admitted to Vanessa over drinks. "Maybe I deserve more," she smiled knowingly. "Good. Now go get it." I did. Late nights at the office became excuses. Texts became more frequent. I found myself checking my phone, hoping for a message from Jake. "Are you okay?" Matt asked one evening, but I brushed it off. "I'm fine," I lied. Inside, I was breaking. One night, Matt worked late. I invited Jake over. The thrill was intoxicating, but so was the guilt. "Adrian, are you sure about this?" Jake whispered, his breath warm against my neck. "I don't know," I whispered back. That night, in our bed, our sacred space, I crossed a line I never thought I would. When Matt came home early the next day, I knew something had changed. He didn't look. At me, he didn't speak, and in that silence I felt everything shatter. "Morning, Adrian," Jake's voice cut through the usual buzz of the office like a fresh breeze. He smiled, that easy, genuine smile that somehow made my chest tighten. "Morning," I said, trying to sound casual but failing. Why did he always make me feel like I was the only person in the room? Later that day, he stopped by my desk. "You looked stressed during the meeting. Everything okay?" I shrugged, avoiding his eyes. "Just a lot on my plate." Jake grinned. "You're always juggling too. Much. You need to take a break sometimes." I laughed nervously. "Yeah, easier said than done. You should come to happy hour with us this Friday. It'd be good to unwind." I hesitated. "I don't know. Matt and I usually have dinner plans." Jake's eyes sparkled with mischief. "You can always cancel those." That thought made my stomach twist. Later that week, Kelsey caught me scrolling through my phone. "Who's got you so distracted?" I bit my lip. "No one. Just a coworker." She raised an eyebrow. "Uh-huh. You're smiling like you just won the lottery." "It's nothing, really." I tried to sound nonchalant. Vanessa overheard and smirked. "Come on, Adrian, spill. You've got a crush, don't you?" I laughed, but my heart raced. "It's complicated." Kelsey leaned in. "Complicated usually means fun." Vanessa added, "or trouble. Either way, it's better than what you've got now." I felt a pang. They didn't know how hollow things had become at home. One evening, Jake texted, "You okay? You seemed off today." I stared at the message, my fingers trembling. Typed back, "Just tired." He replied instantly, "If you ever want to talk, I'm here." I smiled despite myself. Over coffee with Kelsey, I confessed, "He listens, you know? Like, really listens." Kelsey nodded. "That's rare. But be careful, Adrian." "I know. My voice faltered. "It's been so long since I felt seen." Vanessa sipped her wine. "Maybe you deserve to be seen, not just tolerated." The guilt crept in. "Matt's not perfect, but he's my husband." Kelsey shrugged. "And Jake's not your husband, but he makes you feel alive." That hit harder than I wanted to admit. One afternoon, Jake smiled as I walked in. "You look good today." "Thanks," I said, suddenly self-conscious. He added, "Really good." Heat rushed to my cheeks. "Stop," I said, half laughing. He shrugged. "Can't help it." My phone buzzed. A text from Matt. "Working late again." I sighed. He's been distant. I don't know what to do. Jake leaned closer. "Maybe. He doesn't realize what he's losing." My heart pounded. "Maybe." That night, I called Vanessa. "I'm scared." "Scared of what?" "Of what I'm feeling. Of what it could mean." Vanessa's voice was steady. "Feelings don't make you a bad person. Ignoring them does." I wanted to believe her. Days later, Jake surprised me with lunch. "Thought you could use a break." I smiled, feeling a spark I hadn't felt in years. We talked about dreams, hopes, everything I'd stopped sharing with Matt. "Why didn't I tell you this before?" I whispered. Jake took my hand. "Because you never felt safe enough." His touch was electric, but I pulled away, shaking my head. "This is dangerous," I said. He smiled sadly. "Maybe. But sometimes the most dangerous things make us feel most alive." I spent that night tossing and turning, battling the thrill and the guilt. During a girls' night, Kelsey warned, "You're playing with fire, Adrian." Vanessa countered, "Or you're just waking up." I felt torn in two directions. At work, Jake's jokes made me laugh like I used to, but every smile felt like a secret I had to hide. One afternoon, he asked softly, "Do you think about what life could be?" I hesitated. "Sometimes." He smiled, eyes warm. "Maybe you deserve that sometimes to be every day." I nodded, my heart aching with the truth. Later, alone, I whispered to myself, "Is it wrong to want to feel alive again?" The question hung heavy in the air. I was caught between loyalty and longing, between what I had and what I craved. and I didn't know how to choose. Matt said he'd be late again, I told Jake, my voice shaky. He looked up from his phone, concern flickering in his eyes. Are you sure? I nodded, heart pounding. Yeah, it's the perfect chance. He smiled, a slow, dangerous smile. You sure about this? I swallowed hard. I don't know. But I can't keep pretending everything's fine. The wine bottle sat between us on the coffee table, 2 glasses half full. The soft clink of ice in my glass sounded louder than it should. You look nervous, Jake teased. Because I am. I laughed, a bit too loud. This feels wrong. He leaned closer. Or right, in a way you've been ignoring. I bit my lip. I never thought I'd be the person who does this. Betray someone I promised, forever too. Jake's hand brushed mine. My breath hitched. I'm not proud of it, I whispered, but I've been so lonely, so invisible. He squeezed my hand gently. You deserve to be wanted. Our eyes locked. The world shrank to just us and the tangled emotions between. I keep thinking about Matt, I confessed. How he used to hold me, look at me like I mattered. Jake's voice softened. And now, I'm not sure he even notices me anymore. He tucked a stray hair behind my ear. I notice you. The first kiss was hesitant. A question whispered between us. Then it deepened, fierce and urgent. I forgot the guilt, the promises, the life waiting upstairs. Adrian. Jake's voice broke my reverie. I pulled back slightly, heart racing. This is crazy. He smiled, brushing his lips to mine again. Maybe, but sometimes crazy feels alive. Clothes fell away, and we found ourselves in the bedroom, our bedroom, Matt's and mine. The weight of what I was doing crashed down, but desire pushed it aside. I can't believe I'm doing this, I murmured as we lay tangled in sheets. Jake chuckled. Neither can I. For a moment, everything felt electric, wanted, alive. Then reality seeped back. Matt's not here, I reminded myself, tears prickling. He kissed my forehead. You deserve this. Guilt stabbed deep, sharp, and relentless. Afterwards, Jake, left quietly, the door clicking shut behind him. I sat on the edge of the bed, heart heavy. What have I done? I whispered to the empty room. I tried to erase the night's evidence, but the memories clung tight. When Matt walked in later, I barely noticed him. His eyes were cold, distant. Hey, I said softly, reaching out. He stepped back. Adrian, we need to talk. I nodded, dread pooling in my stomach. The night I crossed the line was over, but nothing would ever be the same again. The door clicked shut behind Matt, and the silence hit me like a punch. Matt, I called softly, heart racing. No answer. I waited, listening to the hum of the fridge, the ticking clock, anything but his voice. Later, I tried to break the silence. How was work? Fine. That single word felt like ice. Are you upset? I asked, forcing calm. No. His eyes didn't meet mine. I paced the living room, rehearsing everything. Did he know? Could he? Adrian, what's going on? Kelsey asked when I called her, voice heavy with concern. I don't know. He's different. Different how? Cold, silent, like I'm a ghost. Kelsey sighed. Maybe he's hiding something. I swallowed hard. Maybe. But what? At dinner I tried to talk. Matt, please, talk to me. He pushed his plate away. I'm not hungry. The tension thickened, suffocating. Later I caught Vanessa staring at me. You look like you've seen a ghost. I feel like one. Maybe words getting around. My heart sank. What do you mean? Vanessa shrugged. People talk. Talk about what? She hesitated. You need to be careful. Careful of what? Of what he knows, and what others know. That night, I lay awake, replaying every moment. Did Jake say something? Did Matt find out somehow? My phone buzzed. Another text from Jake, full of questions. I ignored it. Why won't you answer me? He asked, over and over. But I was too scared to reply. The days blurred. Matt stayed in the spare room, avoiding me like I was poison. Kelsey, what do I do? I whispered during another call. Give him time, she said gently. But prepare yourself. Prepare for what? That he's already made a decision. I shook my head. No, that can't be. At a family gathering, Matt's sister Jenna barely looked at me. Stop calling everyone, she said coldly. It's over. My voice broke. Why won't anyone tell me what happened? Jenna's eyes narrowed. Because you know, and you're too scared to admit it. I felt my world crumble. Every whispered conversation, every sidelong glance, it was like everyone knew except me. One night Matt came home late. Did you find out? I asked, voice barely a whisper. He looked at me for the first time in days. Don't ask, he said, walking past. His silence screamed louder than any accusation. I sat alone, tears burning my eyes. How did it get this bad? I whispered, to myself. The cold silence wasn't empty. It was a wall, impenetrable and unforgiving. The moment Matt said it, my world shattered. I want to end this, he said, voice flat. Wait, what? I couldn't believe I heard him right. He didn't look up, just stared at his hands. Why? I begged. Please, just tell me. He shook his head. There's nothing to explain. My throat tightened. Nothing? After everything? Matt's silence was louder than any answer. I don't understand, I whispered. He stood, ready to leave. Matt, please. I grabbed his arm. He pulled away. You don't get it. Tears stung my eyes. I'm trying. Just talk to me. He sighed, voice cold. Talking won't fix this. Is it because of Jake? I asked, heart pounding. He didn't respond. Isn't there anything left? No love? No hope? Matt looked at me, eyes tired. Love isn't enough anymore. I never meant to hurt you, I said, voice breaking. He laughed, bitter. You brought him here. Our bed. That cut deeper than I expected. It was a mistake, I pleaded. I was lonely. He shook his head. Mistakes don't look like this. I crumbled. So that's it? 6 years gone? Not gone, just over. I sank to the floor, feeling hollow. Do you even want me to stay? I asked. Matt hesitated. No. Where am I supposed to go? Panic flooded me. Find somewhere else, he said, gathering his things. I reached for him. Please don't do this. He paused. I already have. I sobbed. Was I ever enough for you? He didn't answer. I whispered. I loved you. He closed the door behind him. I sat there, broken, facing the cold truth. My choices had destroyed us, and now I had nothing left. The silence after Matt left wasn't peaceful. It was crushing. I called Kelsey, voice trembling. He's gone. What do I do? She sighed. People are picking sides, Adrian. It's messy. Like who? I asked, panic rising. My mum says you betrayed him. Jenna won't return my calls. I swallowed hard. They're against me. They think you ruined everything. Tears blurred my vision. But I'm so lost. Kelsey was quiet. You're not alone. But you're in deep. I tried reaching Jake next. His number kept going to voicemail. I texted, please call me. No reply. Days later, I saw Vanessa at the grocery store. She gave a tight smile. It's tough, huh? Yeah, I admitted. I feel like I'm drowning. She shrugged. You brought this on yourself. I wanted to scream. I was lonely. That's no excuse. At another gathering, whispers followed me. Did you hear about Adrian? She broke his heart. I wanted to disappear. I sat alone in my apartment, scrolling through old texts. Why did I do this? I thought. Was I so unhappy? The guilt clawed at me. One night I called Matt. Please, talk to me. He didn't answer. I left a message. I'm sorry. Days passed with no response. I tried my friends again. Why won't anyone listen? I cried. Kelsey's voice was gentle. Maybe you need to listen to yourself. I looked in the mirror, barely recognizing the hollow eyes staring back. My choices had cost me everything: love, trust, friendship. Even Jake, who once made me feel alive, was gone. I whispered to the empty room, "What have I done?" The first time I sat in therapy, my hands trembled. "Why are you here?" the therapist asked gently. I betrayed my husband," I whispered. She nodded. "What do you want from this?" To understand, to forgive myself. After the session, I called Kelsey. "I finally did it," I said, voice shaky. "Good," she smiled. "It's a start." We talked late into the night. "Do you regret it?" she asked. "Every second," I admitted. "But I also see why I did it." Kelsey was silent for a moment. That's progress. In therapy, I learned to face my pain, not hide from it. One day, the therapist said, "Betrayal is complex, so is forgiveness." I frowned. Can I forgive myself? Only when you truly understand. At home, I sat alone, replaying my mistakes. I wanted love, I told myself. But I ran away from it, Kelsey called again. "How are you feeling?" Torn, but lighter somehow. She laughed softly. "That's healing." I found strength in small moments, a deep breath, a clear thought. "I'm not just the woman who cheated," I whispered. "I'm someone learning to heal." Matt's absence still stung, but I no longer felt broken. One evening, I wrote in my journal, "I am more than my mistakes." Kelsey read it over the phone. "That's beautiful. I want to believe it." The road ahead was uncertain, but I was ready to face the truth, to find myself again. The moment Matt stepped inside, the air thickened. "You showed up," I said, voice barely steady. He didn't answer, just stared. "Why now?" I asked. Matt's eyes burned. "Because I can't do this silence anymore." I swallowed. "I'm sorry, Matt. I never meant to hurt you." He laughed, harsh and bitter. "Never meant to. You brought him into our bed." "I was lonely," I whispered. "That's your excuse?" "No. It was stupid. A mistake." He shook his head. "You threw 6 years away." "I know. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this. I want to make it right." "Did you even try? Did you tell me when things were hard?" "No," I admitted. He stepped closer. "You chose to hide, to cheat." I was scared. I was devastated. Tears pricked my eyes. "I'm sorry for everything." He looked away. "There's nothing left to say. Please don't shut me out." Matt's voice was cold. "I'm done." I stood there, broken but relieved. No hugs, no forgiveness, just raw truth. For the first time, silence felt like closure. "I'm moving out next week," I told Kelsey, my voice shaky but determined. She smiled. "Finally, it's time," I nodded. "I need to start fresh, on my terms." Packing boxes felt like shedding skin. Painful, but necessary. At my new job, I met people who didn't know my past. "I'm Adrian," I said during introductions, feeling lighter. One coworker joked. "Fresh start, huh?" I laughed, a real laugh. "Yeah, something like that." Kelsey called. "How are you holding up?" "Better. Scars still sting, but I'm healing." She paused. "Remember, love starts with you." Those words stuck with me. I stared at my reflection. Who am I now? Not just the woman who lost a husband, not the one who made mistakes. I'm someone learning respect. learning strength. One night, alone, I whispered, "I won't lose myself again." The silence answered back, not empty, but full of promise. Though the past haunts, I choose growth. I'm ready for what's next. I was scrolling through my phone when I saw it, Matt's new life unfolding on my screen. A photo of him, smiling, arm around a woman I didn't know. "Is this real?" I whispered. Kelsey called just then. "What's up?" "I saw Matt's new girlfriend," I said, voice tight. She was quiet. "How do you feel?" "Jealous, hurt, but also free." Kelsey laughed softly. "That's progress." I stared at the photo again. "He looks happy." "Good for him," Kelsey said. I sighed. "I've been chasing a ghost." "No more," she reminded me. That night, alone, I whispered, "I release you, Matt, and me." The pain was still there, but lighter. I'm choosing peace. Love isn't simple. It's messy, painful, and beautiful all at once. I'll carry the scars, but I won't let them define me. This is my new beginning.